Back again for another episode of BackChat. 93. I'm going to keep counting up numbers until we get to 100.
Right. So you got
Pretty good effort. 7 more to go until I keep doing that at the start. Let's get a few things out of the way quickly. Socials, BackChat _. Email hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. You send us an email. We might read if it's good on air. Patreon. Thank you to everyone who's been signing up for that. We've obviously got the tipping competition over there. We've got so much good stuff. Yeah, our VIPs. We owe a lot to them. Yeah, let's get into it. We've got a special one today.
Yeah, we bloody do. We announced last week our naming rights partners, Fleet Network, and we promised a couple of big names. Well, we couldn't go and get Chris Judd and those delights, so we got these two boys in here instead. Frank Agostino. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, Will.
This is Frank to my right.
Yeah, Frank.
You could be sort of related. If you looked at both of us, both bald, both beard, that sort of thing. And Garrick Ibbotson, former Fremantle Docker, joins us as well. Hello, Garrick.
Hello, Garrick.
So these two boys, they just push all the buttons over at Fleet Network. We wanted to get them in here because I think it's better talking to you two lads about what Fleet Network does, but also, right? Okay, that's great. Okay, you get a business, you get a sponsorship, fantastic. We do really appreciate it, boys. So thank you off the top.
Yeah,
but I think it's better to get to know you a bit, and I think there's a bit of footy sort of connection that we can draw here.
Put it this way: we probably wouldn't usually do it if it's just some random company and Jono from safetyglasses.com comes in and has no, we wanted to have you guys in because we like you as well.
Hey, but if there is a safety glasses company that wants to get on board, we do have some sponsorship available for the rest of the season. But boys, let's start with footy and then we'll get to Fleet Network and we'll speak a bit more about what novated leasing can do for you, all of that. I don't know which one to start with. Let's start with Frank.
Yeah.
So Frank, you and I know each other from a long time ago. You used to play.
Sorry, before any introduction, we need to ask a question.
You want to do it?
Yep, straight off the top.
All right.
What we do with every guest that comes on the BackChat guest episode is we ask them for their greatest sporting achievement.
Yes.
Now,
I wasn't expecting this, but
there you go. So Garrick, we've pinned Garrick to come on as a guest, a special guest for another episode. So we're going to hold off on yours. So you've got a few weeks to think about that.
Still got some time to rustle something up.
Exactly. Frank, greatest sporting achievement not on the footy field because, like Sco was about to say,
yes.
Go on, you can give him a little.
I mean, so Haymish Brayshaw is not here today, if you haven't heard. We couldn't quite fit that personality here with the four of these guys. These guys know how podcasts work. They listened to the music before and they said, skip, this is the 15-second part.
Yep.
It's actually where I think your sponsorship money goes, boys.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So don't skip too much. Frank Agostino, though, can step in with a best and fairest East Perth player. No Hamish. Frank, you won the best and fairest 2007.
I did. And if you ask most people, they say I won that best and fairest from just kicking myself in the back line. Back in the day when that was a stat. So
you were
I'd be
like the
ruined.
Bowden brothers.
Spot on. I just didn't turn around and handball it back through to kick it again.
Yeah, correct. So now, Frank, you can't go footy because you were a footballer. You've got to give us your greatest sporting achievement not on the football field.
I think this is one that sprung straight to my mind as soon as you asked, Dan. It was one where year 5 or 6, mixed netball.
Yes.
My mum clings to this. Best on ground in a netball grand final, mixed netball grand final.
Huge.
And every now and again, I reckon as little as 12 months ago, Mum brought it up. She's bloody proud. Never talked about the East Perth best and fairest, but she's happy about that one.
You're a mixed netballer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't
you get it.
Started.
You get it.
Martha, the umpire, just hated me the entire time. It was awful. Coming from a footy background and when you're not allowed to touch anyone or throw the ball too hard or I don't know, I couldn't do mixed netball. But did you win that grand final?
Nah, don't care though.
So you played in the final.
Played and won best on ground. That was it.
That's very good.
Same with me. I won a best on ground in a cricket grand final. We didn't win.
Have you boys heard about this cricket game?
I'd love to hear about it again.
No. We're not going to do that. We've got too much to get through. So
that's the best. We're not getting it from...
No, we're not getting it from Garrick. We can have that for next time when he comes on.
So I'll stick with Frank then.
Yeah.
I think it was around 2007. So my first year at the football club, young, skinny, poor, rangy wingman, defender... bench player, Garrick.
Gang ball been there.
Well, I was going to say, I saw you back there a little bit as well. I was running around a wing, and I swear to God it was you. And you keep denying it was, but I remember it. It was you. Running down the wing, fat side of the ground. Was getting in my way a lot, Frank. About the same size as me, Frank. Pushing and bumping and carrying on.
Elbows out.
I just blatantly struck you from behind.
Sounds like you. Sounds like you.
I struck you on the football field.
Yep.
And it was in the waffle, so there's no repercussions.
I was a pretty heavy target because I was quite a lean kid, right? So I copped it. I remember my second game against Claremont. I put my hands on my head, and Chris Lewis, old Eagles player, was playing. He was just at the back end of his career, so they slow down a little bit. They get a little bit angrier because they can't do the things they used to be able to do. And I copped one right in the sternum from Chris Lewis, and I dropped and never put my hands on my head again. But look.
Well, while we're on footy, and I was weighing up whether to do this. I think Garrick would have very much appreciated it if I do, but I was going to introduce you as Garrick Ibbotson and Mark Nikoski from the Fleet Network. Why would I have done that? Why would I have done that?
I've got no idea why.
Why would I have introduced you as Mark Nikoski?
This is a running joke.
What's happened there?
Well, I think so many different stories have been bandied around, but what I can say is that on the morning of that draft...
so this is your draft year?
Yeah.
Potential draft year?
Yeah, and I can't remember the draft it was, maybe 2003 or 4 maybe. Mm-hmm. The same draft as Nikoski, as Mark. And I've never spoken to them about this, right? Really? So hopefully is he a listener? Is he a listener?
I probably is. Pretty much everyone in the country is. So
yeah, true. Yeah, I forgot about that. So I get a phone call on the morning of the draft saying, look, we're gonna pick you up with our last rookie pick. Right?
From West Coast?
From West Coast, from a fella by the name of Ian Miller. Serge is a fantastic East Perth man as well. As the draft was done back in those days, I don't think we had internet and those sorts of things. Yeah. But got the phone call from Serge again saying, mate, congratulations, we've used you, we've picked you in that third. And then 15 minutes later, I get the other phone call after I've just told all my family and friends that I've been picked up. I get a phone call from the coach at the time saying, unfortunately, mate, we've cooked it. We've gone with Nikoski instead. We jumped the. So I got letters and all sorts of things from West Coast.
So did they look? The story I heard, and I can't remember where I heard this actually, Garrick.
Yeah, right.
I don't think this is me. I think this is Adam.
The West Coast Eagles read out your name. They drafted you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they read out my name or not because I don't think there was a telecast or broadcast or anything like that. But I definitely got a phone call from Ian Miller, and I think it was just a cock up in the morning. I'm not.
So Serge ringing you, they wanted to draft you. They did want to draft you.
Yeah,
Serge did.
So that's
Serge did. Yeah, someone else didn't.
Who's about it?
So I mean, the reason I was hesitant on doing it, and I can imagine that being pretty brutal for a 17-18.
It was horrible, and the hardest part is telling your family and then calling them all back to say, oh, by the way, I'm not.
That's brutal.
And then a lot of them didn't believe me. Then I got the letter from West Coast, and. Yeah, it was brutal at the time, but it all worked out, right?
Yeah.
I think Mark played in a premiership, did he?
No, he missed one. He
played in the grand final.
Yeah, he played in the grand final.
Yeah.
And then missed out on 06. He broke his leg that year.
Yeah, and I was done by, around that time as well. Mark had a fantastic career, and I went on down a different path with business, so it all worked out.
So transitioning into business, and I will get to you soon.
That's right, mate.
What's your pathway been, and what are you doing with Fleet Network now?
Yeah, so from that time, pretty interesting story. That sort of door obviously closed because in round one of that following that waffle season, I did an ACL. Right. So obviously 12 months off footy, and all of a sudden you're out of the draft thoughts. So I. Was lazy around home, playing a bit of PlayStation, and I got a phone call from the president at the time of East Perth saying, mate, what are you doing now? And I'm like, just playing PlayStation. He said, mate, we need to get you a job. You need to think about, a trade or something like that. You can't just sit at home. And at the time I was just happy sort of working casually and those sorts of things. I ended up calling Bronte back the next day and saying, yeah, look, I wouldn't mind a panel beating apprenticeship. I did panel beating for 4 years. And then that was at the time I was playing at East Perth, and I had some knee issues, couldn't panel beat and play footy. I asked Bronte what he wanted me to do, retire or keep panel beating. He said, no, you can stop panel beating. We'll put you into fleet sales at Holden. Right. So I started working at Holden, was supplying cars to Fleet Network, and then within 12 months I was at Fleet Network in a consultant role. So it all just stemmed from that little closing door moment.
And what's your official title now?
It's a bit complicated at the moment. Garrick's running Fleet Network now.
That's what I said.
I'm a director at Fleet Network, so
Save the best.
I don't have a job.
Okay.
So if I'm on it,
we're always open
seat.
door here at BackChat, mate. You can host a show. It started very well.
Yeah, it's very good.
And what about you, Garrick? You've been on the other side of the ditch to me. I'm pretty you're in the same draft as me.
05 draft for me.
Year before me. Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, you've been down the footy route, mate. You've played a shitload of games at Fremantle, and then here you are, sit next to me.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time playing against each other in the waffle, I reckon. I reckon I would have played maybe 2007. I played my first game, played one, and I was straight back out again. And then I reckon I've seen you down at Peel, and you were into me. You are the worst AFL player I've ever seen. How did you get you?
that doesn't sound like you, mate.
2007.
I don't know if no.
It
would have
It
been
sounds
for you.
like a big year for me. I've whacked Frank Agostino.
I think it might have been the blokes you were hanging out with, the Ballantines, the O'Briens, these sorts of guys might have been
Hayden Ballantine
leading
was
you
my
astray.
Yeah, well, when we drafted him, we were down at Perry Lakes doing a running session, and we said, "Oh, we just picked up Hayden Ballantine." I thought, "You're kidding."
Yes.
Hayden Ballantine, because he was a pest of a person to play against, like a horror. But having him at the side, brilliant.
Who are you playing for in the waffle?
I was playing at East Fremantle at the time.
So did I personally attack you, Garrick? Would you like me to apologise here on the podcast?
No, it's all good now.
It wasn't 20 minutes ago.
I actually-
wasn't 20 minutes ago.
Like flooding back memories. I feel like I have some sort of you weren't too happy with me at the time.
I wasn't pumped about it because you didn't really.
You're the worst AFL player I've ever seen.
Well, you weren't really bashing the door down either, so I sort of took it as a bit of.
No, that's fair
fine,
enough.
both
I
of
was
us.
back there with you. I think it was the same year Shane Woden had come back, and I remember having a run in with him as well.
Yeah.
Having a chat about winning a Brownlow and then potentially 1 year later playing in the waffle. I think that's a fair game though.
Yeah.
We've had Shane on the podcast, so
Yes,
I can say
yes.
that. And I did speak to him about that. Pretty much every guest we have on here, Dan, I end up having a run in.
You've heckled
Sort
at
of
some
glue
stage.
with- That's fine. It speaks to the sort of guy that you were, but we all mature, we all change.
So how many games do you play with Freo, Garrett?
177.
Life membership,
Yep,
what, 150?
150. Yeah,
So life member, 176 games.
7.
177.
Didn't take you long to cut me short.
How was the lap of honour when you retired?
I missed mine. Not that I missed it. It wasn't offered to me, so I never got one, which I think you can probably relate to.
Correct.
Let's talk about that. So there's 3 players from the 2018 West Coast Eagles premiership side that retired.
Yeah.
So Lewis Jetta, Chris Maston, Will Schofield, all without a lap. That seems odd. Garrick, you're a life member, no lap. How do you surely you send an email?
I didn't send an email. No,
You can't call it for yourself.
no. I need someone to support. Maybe you can send an email for me.
I think what we should do, maybe get both of you, like 2 birds, 1 stone, get in a car, and we'll just pull up at Optus. What are they like? You've got media cred.
Yeah.
You could drive in.
Okay. So you think we actually do it at Optus? I thought the idea was maybe to do it in the Fleet
Yeah.
Network
No,
car park.
no.
That makes
Probably
more
more
sense
chance
for
of
me.
it happening.
I've changed my mind. Let's get the best car that Fleet Network has to offer, right?
Which
Yes.
is probably the best on the market. I'm
Of
assuming.
course.
Would be.
Pull up in that, and then you guys just sit on the back. We'll get a convertible. You sit on the back, and then if you look the part, I'm sure they'll just wave you through.
I reckon you're onto something.
Thank you.
That's right. Worst case scenario at Fleet Network car park.
I actually look
likely.
forward to that.
Yeah.
Have you got convertibles? Can we
We'll
do
find one.
convertibles?
We will
one,
find one.
yeah.
Look, I wanted to ask Garrick, so on the back of that, footy career finishes, how do you transition to what you're doing now at Fleet Network, and what are you doing at Fleet Network?
Yeah, so I went 2017. I finished. I spent about 8 or 9 months doing new home sales, which I didn't like at all. It was a nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I happened to bump into Dimatina's Cafe in Osborne Park. I went down there when I was working at the new sales place. Saw Ryan Murphy, who used to play at Fremantle as well. So I was there with Freo, played with him.
South Freo player?
South Freo player, yeah. He was working at Fleet Network at the time. And I bumped into him. He goes, "Oh, how's work going, mate?" And I was like, "Oh, not great, to be honest." And he goes, "Oh, you should come and meet Frank because he's looking for a new consultant to work there." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm happy to have a chat with him. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing anyway." So I went and saw Frank the next day, and then 2 weeks later, I was starting at a Fleet Network. So I was, 2 weeks from that meeting, I was
Move quickly, Will.
Wow, you must
Move
have
very
got a
quickly.
very good deal on the table, Frank.
Or maybe you just
I didn't
hated
have a
where
whole
it
lot
was.
else to compare against, so I was going to take anything. That's probably the best.
Not many slabs going down, I wouldn't have thought.
Did you roll Collignon into the negotiation? Right, you got to get this or he's walking.
It was almost like Kramer accepting his free year of coffee when he just said, "We'll take that." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in." Yeah, before it even got anywhere. So As soon as I walked in the door, I was in.
And then where are you now? Are you not a consultant anymore, as Frank said?
No, so it's pretty much whenever he's got something better, he's just had to bring someone up to replace him. So I've been quite lucky. It's gone from being a consultant and then I went to operations and now doing general manager now that Frank's moved on to bigger and better things.
So next you'll be the director.
Well, depends what he does. It's not up to me. It's up to him.
So, I mean, I just think it's interesting having a chat with you boys. Like, and it seems like you're just recruiting out of the waffle, Frank.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Will, because
there's footy alignment, right?
There is an alignment, and you joke about it, but you find a lot of good qualities within footballers. And then that's not just to say that I just recruit footballers, but I do believe that the people that we've got at Fleet Network have this teamwork sort of type mentality. They don't want to let each other down. They're quite motivated. They're disciplined, and some of those same traits happen within football. So it's what I'm familiar with, and the guys work really well together. And then it's a good result for the client as well.
Can we transition now? I think it's probably a good time to speak about Fleet Network and what you guys do. And for our listeners, like we sort of floated it a little bit last week, didn't we, Dan?
We said it was, car related and, it can get, like we gave the most basic details enough for people to go, okay.
Because I wanted people to know what they were speaking about exactly. And we'll continue to push the message, of course. But from the top, how does it work? What do you guys do? And then we'll get into how it actually works. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'll start and you can jump in once I've left something out. But
okay, Garrick.
It is car related. So that's probably what you guys, the initial thought you see is right, car related, because that's what you've heard. But we're a salary packaging provider. So cars are part of that. And essentially what we do is we sort of give people an opportunity to pay for their car and running costs and things like that with their pre-tax dollar. So instead of, and we've spoken about this earlier with you, paying for everything after you've sort of paid for your full income tax, this is the opposite. So you pay for it with your pre-tax dollar, benefit to reduce your taxable income, and it's a pretty cost-effective way, but also an easy way to budget for your car and some other bits and pieces that go with it.
So you save on some tax when you do it this way, but it's also a good way to keep track of your expenses when you're actually spending on a car, correct?
It is.
So coming in today, I said, boys, what do you want to speak about, how we want to do? And said, we'll get through you king-hitting Frank and Garrick being upset with you abusing him on the field. Can you send, and you boys, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Can you send through what you spend on a car? And you gave me 5 topics. I've got them on my phone right now. And when you sent them through, I literally looked at them and I thought, I have no idea. I actually have no idea with what I'm spending.
What sort of car do you have, Scully?
I've got a Prado. So I've got a Toyota Prado.
Yep.
What are you woofing about? I see what you're driving around.
Travelling, isn't he?
I got a Honda CRV.
Must get some good sponsorship.
Yeah, correct. Now, I do believe that potentially we might be just jumping on board once we go through this process, maybe upgrading the Prado to a Tesla. Just don't know, maybe. But
well, the funny thing about that, Sco, is you joke about it, but that at the moment, like when you speak to people, that's the dream of people. They want a Tesla, right? And that's one vehicle that's obviously available through a novated lease or a salary package situation. But if your situation where you're spending sort of $1,200 a month when you finance it, you fuel it, you insure it, you register it, you service it, tyres, maintenance. If the average consumer or the average listener actually tallies up what they spend, and I think you spent 10 minutes doing that, you get a quite a big surprise about how much you're spending. Now, a Tesla, Garrick, you're probably better placed than me, but is it around $500 a month, just a touch over, is it?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. So if your Prado at $1,200 a month, fuel plus all your other running costs and your finance, if you're liking that to a Tesla, you're saving $700 a month via that scenario.
Yes.
Right. And
$500 a fortnight.
$500 a fortnight. Yeah. So like at the end of the day, especially in a world where cost of living is on everyone's lips, to free up a bit of cash flow in the house, save some tax, we've obviously got a product which gives that.
Going back to what you said earlier, if we had have asked you, have you got any idea annually what you spend on just running costs? Because everyone pretty much knows what their finance bill is, but running costs they don't think about. So if you had to say, mate, what do you reckon you spend annually on your running costs?
So that's what fuel,
insurance, registration, servicing and tyres.
Right. I literally wouldn't have had any idea. And I sat down and did it and I was sort of spitting out numbers.
How'd you work out your fuel? Just guessed?
I literally guessed. I thought, how many times do I fill up? And then I tried to sort of split it over a week and then a month. Literally, you don't think about it.
No.
Right? And so that's how I did it. But like, I never really done it properly.
Yeah. And it's like, for the sake of the exercise, obviously you talk about a Prado. If you were to, even basic numbers, insurance $1,000, even if you did $100 a week in diesel, 1,000 for servicing, you're sort of getting up towards $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for just running costs alone. So people go, oh, my finance is only $600, but you've got $900 worth of running costs that you don't even think about because they're $100 here, insurance I pay every month here and there. So without actually thinking about it, you get up to well north of $1,000 a month pretty simply.
So basically, as far as I understand it, now this is where you get to correct me, I can do a deal on a car, a new car, pre-tax dollars. So if I'm getting paid a salary before I have to pay tax on that, we do this amount comes out of that. And it includes everything I need to do with the car. I know what that amount is, and that's what I pay each month, and I get a car. What am I missing?
Not much. Sort of it. And you're thinking about your circumstances, the whole benefit of the pre-tax part of it. So what you had sent through earlier, if you tallied it all up and put it into a monthly cost, it's about $750, right?
Yeah. If
you pay with your pre-tax dollar, it's $750 of pre-tax, but from your actual take-home pay, so the impact on what you actually get back, it's about $550. So
he'd be on the highest tax rate, I would have thought, though.
You'd
Garrick.
probably get more benefit than some. But in saying that, even just for that simple
I am
exercise,
now, thanks to Fleet Network.
Yeah, you're possibly getting $200 a month back, which you would be spending anyway, but you get $200 back through doing it as a novated product.
When I kind of heard about properly what it was, because I always saw Fleet Network and I thought it was you needed to be a part of a business or own a business or own a fleet of cars. It's not for businesses, is it?
No, it's for the individual, right? And I suppose that's a lot of the reason why we've partnered Scully is to get, as an industry as a whole, we've been really poor at getting this message out and educating the general public. That's why we're here is, I suppose, to get this out there and say, right, if you've got a job and you're a PAYG employee, you're eligible as long as your employer allows it. Right, all they need to really do is hit the button on a payroll, and that's it. Doesn't cost them anything. In terms of the liability with a car, if the employee leaves the employer, the employee takes that liability with them. So there's really no risk to the employer. It really is around educating the average person who's probably one of your listeners, if they've got a car like you do, to try save some money via this.
Well, that's it. Kind of that's what I took out of doing the exercise with you guys, and you can do that with the boys. Fleet Network.
I've got a question as well. So let's say I work at, I don't know, Scoy's Fillet Fish Hut, and then
great business idea. Safety glasses WA, was that another one?
Yeah. And I'm just looking at a giant poster of Scully holding a fillet of fish. And then I'm like, oh, I really want to do this with a car. Do I just go to you guys and say, can you sort it out with Scully's Fillet of Fish Hut, or do I need to get it approved, or how does that work?
Yeah. That's an option. Like a few different ways. We can either go to your employer, you can go to your employer. There's a fair chance it probably works better if we do, because we can, there's some frequently asked questions that get asked frequently. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. And we can answer those questions.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, that's why I'm excited by partnering with you guys, is because it's for individuals. It's not for businesses. It's for people that
drive cars.
Well, for me, like, I just had to look at myself. Like, I didn't understand what it was. I sat down and spoke to you boys, and it's pretty much, as far as I took off it, I can save money while actually understanding what I spend on my car a month, and I get a better car than I'm driving right now. And you guys kind of sort everything out for me. I'm not a car person, right? I don't understand cars. I just need to get from here
to there. Can't drive manual.
But I like driving like new cars. I can't drive a manual. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Have you both got your manual licenses?
I do, yeah.
Frank?
Yeah, I do. But I got my license back in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. there was only manual.
Yeah. Do you do manual licenses for people? Can we put that on top of the benefits?
Maybe.
But pretty much you get all your costs included, and like there it is. You pay your money.
And it's the people love like all those benefits we've spoken about, but people just honestly love that fuel card, because there's nothing worse than going to the fuel station and forking out your own money for. People just love swiping their card, using their pre-tax dollar to pay for their fuel and driving away. There's nothing, I don't know, especially in a Prado, it can cost you up to $150, $200 to fill the bugger up.
200. Yeah, easy.
So people love the fact they just swipe it, drive away, and it's all out of their pre-tax. And that's it's the ease, right? And around Christmas time, when people get that registration bill, they're a bit hung up for cash, pre-tax dollar rather than, rather than that post-tax dollar. For you to earn 500, you've got to earn to pay that rego bill. It's $750 gross.
It's a bit like a nitty gritty, but like when those sorts of bills come through, how does that get handled? Do you send them through to Garrick or?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, I'll sort it out for you. It's funny actually because we spend like people actually still send like me a text of their stuff and they're like, "Oh, can you sort this out for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can do it for you. No worries." Because that's the whole thing. They're like,
there's a portal.
Before. Yeah, so they've got a portal, but some people will go, "Hey mate, sort this out for me." And I'll go, "Yeah, it's fine. I'll do it." For you.
It's brilliant.
So
and same with me. They do it to me too.
So there's a portal where you put your bills in for your car.
Yeah, so you get all your reimbursements claimed through that. So that's the real way to do it. There's the backdoor way of texting us through.
If you want to sign up,
text the general manager.
If you want to sign up to Patreon and join us as a VIP, you will get Garrick's phone number.
Work number.
Work number.
But it is like the fuel card is essentially the thing you do weekly or fortnightly. That's the one that you don't have to send in reimbursements for. The insurance, if you're doing that monthly, yes, monthly reimbursement back through the portal. Get your money back into the bank account the following day.
Wow. Pretty
Any
good.
other questions?
I reckon I'll keep having them as we go. And we'll just,
great.
We'll just keep throwing them at you.
Have we missed anything major there, boys?
Wouldn't have thought so.
No, you're right.
All right. Let's talk.
Fleetnetwork.com.au.
Yeah.
That's where you need to go to sort all this out. So if you liked listening to what the boys have had to say, in all seriousness, Garrick will have a chat to you. He's not in an office locked away. Really accessible. Got a great team down there. If you're an individual, you can use your pre-tax dollars to get a brand new car with all expenses in a budgeted amount. How's that sounding?
Perfect,
mate.
Hey, I'm actually understanding
That was
what's going
wrapped
on.
You could be an ambassador.
nicely. Yeah.
It's almost like I'm a host on a podcast. What do you got for us, Dan?
Let's talk about Fat Chat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this was D-Day for us. Hamish.
It is
set
D-Day.
It is. Hamish set the day today that we had to weigh in and achieve our goals. Now, obviously, as you're listening to this, Hamish isn't here, so we're going to put it back a week in terms of talking about
Just the announcement.
The announcement of that. We're still going to talk Fat Chat because we are still going through that process. And these boys here at Fleet Network do have, from what we heard when we had lunch the other day, a little fitness club that you guys get up at 4. Is it 4 in the morning?
What's going on down at Fleet Network?
4:30 or 4?
Well, my kids don't sleep. That's my excuse.
What is happening? Like, it sounds like you've got some sort of military regime.
It's not far
Cars
off
and
it.
fitness.
Pretty much.
You told me there was a compulsory fitness session and the early hours.
It's frowned upon if they don't go.
Yeah,
it's frowned upon. I've got to be careful.
Yeah, I
Is
was
it fair
gonna say-
workplace listening? Or?
It's like a recovery session on a Sunday. It's compulsory.
Yeah,
but then if you don't turn up, then you're done.
So, Dan, this is to do with AFL land, right?
Yeah, right.
Hey, boys, optional recovery session on Sunday. But you know full well if you're not there, your name's on a list and you're probably not playing next week.
Right.
It's something along those lines, and that's what I said to you earlier. I love a footy culture.
So what do you boys do? You get down to the gym all together and work out?
Yeah. Most days we get together and
Most days?
carrying up good life.
Is it most days?
Well, yeah, myself and Pickers do. Garrick's a little bit. Look at him though; he doesn't need to. Myself and Pickers need to put in the yards.
That's not fair. They go to Carrying Up Good Life, which is like 40 minutes from my place. So I get up at like 4:15 to be at a 5 o'clock start, which is fine for him, and he gets stuck into me if I don't go one day.
So he wants to save the 10 minutes of sleep time.
What time are we
Yeah.
talking? What time?
Oh, we
I
get
get
there
up at 20
we get there
past
at
4
5.
to get there. And mind you, my kids are asleep by that stage, so I have all my stuff ready. I wake up, alarm goes off, put my stuff on, sneak out the house.
Because if you wake up a child on the way out, you'll be...
My wife will be livid.
Yeah.
So that's not happening.
No.
So then I have to sneak out the door and be ready for 5 o'clock.
We are so far at BackChat. We are so far from having 4 a.m. fitness
Scully,
session.
5 a.m. And
5,
I reckon
okay,
maybe
5.
you should start joining us.
You're
You're more than welcome, mate. Same with you, Dan.
Can sneak you in.
Yeah. But I
That
just...
wasn't that
Dan's in Hocking.
Yeah.
How close is Hocking to Carina?
close enough.
like at that time of the morning, 20 minutes.
You can charge your Tesla downstairs as well.
Okay.
Currently don't have one, so we'll have to...
You can charge Will's one.
I was going to
for
bring
it.
this up. So a part of the deal here, we are getting involved. There's going to be. I'm going to upgrade my Prado to a Tesla. Dan is yet to come
Hasn't
across that.
negotiated yet.
What do we need to do to get Dan a Tesla?
What do I need to do today to get you in a nice new Tesla?
We've got an
$500 a
application.
fortnight will do it.
We'll get an application in the car, Dan.
Well, it is a good cost. I'm currently we're a 1-car family right now, and it's driving from Hocking to wherever.
Can we commit to 5 a.m. sessions? I
Yeah.
would actually be quite interested. I'm in a bad way. If we talk about Fat Chat, I sat at 107.8 kilos. I know, boys, it's big. I was down to about 101.
Yeah,
midway
you
through.
were flying early.
I'm not going to announce what I am at
Yeah,
now because
no.
we're going to do that with Haymish next week. But I will just say it hasn't been. It's not good. It's
Yeah,
not
it's okay.
good. Boys.
It's a journey. It's a process. It's
Um,
like, but yeah,
Haymish-
5 a.m. get-ups.
Have a look on our socials, BackChat _. Hamish has documented his journey over the past 48 hours, which we will hear
Put
in
something.
depth.
Yeah,
But he
just brutal.
has weight cut.
Yeah.
He'll still win a Sandover though, won't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
He was the
Big
captain
time.
of East Perth.
I know,
He's the
I know.
skipper.
Yep.
So that's Fat Chat.
Yeah, so that's Fat Chat. Next,
Once again.
next week we'll do the big reveal. We'll postpone D-Day, but I'm going to commit to this longer. Like I'm not going to just eat like 10 cheeseburgers next Tuesday. Like I'm committing like for the long
in.
haul.
I would like to work out.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do. When I go to the gym, I'm like,
Well, Adam
walk around,
Pickering,
don't know what to do.
Adam Pickering, ex-Carlton, ex-East Perth footballer working at Fleet Network. He's dropped roughly 20 kilos.
That's
Garrick.
huge.
Yeah, in the
It's
time
not a
he's
lot.
been at Fleet Network, and he looks fantastic. And
a
he
heavy
struts
regime.
around and carries on.
The
You
mayor
should
of
see him.
Craigieburn.
Carries Eskies around the gym.
Yeah, that's what do you say then?
The mayor of Craigieburn.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
while you're on it, yeah,
Yes.
so he ex-Carlton
Yeah.
player, like you say, he's got a grandstand at Craigieburn.
What's his scoreboard? No, there's a scoreboard named up. The
grandstand,
Adam. Yeah,
grandstand.
okay. Let's get
That's
it
so
going.
good.
It's a scoreboard, but it's got his name on it.
How many games did he play for Carlton?
6 or 7. Well, he says he. What was the 7th?
He played 7, but he didn't touch it in the 7th, so he reckons he played 6.
Right.
It's the last game he played. He had 0 on the delisted. Oh,
seven
boy.
more games than I played. For so, all right. Should we talk some footy while we're on it? The
Derby.
Western Derby was on the weekend. How many derbies did you play in, Garrick? Remember?
I reckon I played in 14.
That's a lot. It's a lot of derbies.
I'm gonna have a quick
seven.
look.
I got 7 seasons. How many you reckon you would have been?
I played in I played in 16 and I was 8 and 8.
Oh right. Do you remember
1-8.
your record?
No, but I played 177 games. I've had 86 wins, 86 losses, and a draw.
Wow, that's good.
Numerology.
That's good.
Fremantle defender Garrick Ibbotson is adamant the Dockers playing group hasn't lost confidence despite its winless start to the season.
When was that from?
Must be 2017.
That's media training, I think.
Yeah, that's very good. That is very good. 2016. So what happened that year? That you'd lost the defensive spark. You didn't go well in 2016.
We didn't go well in 2016.
No.
That's all right. But we're talking about 2023 now.
Yes.
Western Derby. Freo had a win. West Coast had 9 people running around at the end with all the injuries. What was your any Derby memories for you? Anyone that stands out for you as the best?
Well, there's a couple of. I mean, Hayden Ballantyne's kick after the siren. Not that it was a great memory.
Where were you
It's
when
si-
that happened?
I don't know. Can't remember. I've seen it on the TV enough times that I think I must have been
Were you on
sitting
the
behind
field?
him in the window.
You were playing.
What year was it?
2013, 12.
I reckon. I probably was playing. I don't know. I can't actually remember. But it was a great kick. And for the theatre, it looked like it was in. And then I thought, we're going to win.
I was genuinely in the middle of the goals. I was trying to set up a scaffolding for Nick to
2011.
jump on. And 2011. It was never missing that shot. It genuinely was never missing. Ballas was celebrating like it wasn't missing.
Yeah.
He could actually still be running over through the Subiaco roofs. He was doing these ones. That was never missing until it hit the post. I don't know how. Do you still watch derbies now? Do you still got purple in your veins?
Yeah. Well and truly. And I think I've only been out, 5 years, I guess, now.
Yes.
But yeah, the derbies, I still very much get in there and think, like, I've got my purple shirt on for those.
Was there genuine hatred towards West Coast? Frank's nodding his head, so give an honest answer.
Yeah, he gives bullshit answers on SEN, but here he can give a real answer.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, it was.
Which Eagle did
Yeah.
you hate the most?
No,
Don't say
this
you
is
can't
the
say
thing.
Will Schofield.
No, so this is the thing. It wasn't even so much about the individual players that you didn't like. It was the whole, like the week and like all the people out in the town where you'd see people going, oh, geez, you have lost 5 in a row. You're going to lose the 6-1 even after finishing now, no premierships for Freo. We've won 4. Like you're still not going to get any. So it was even more than like it wasn't so much the players
people.
back then. It was the whole Freo versus West Coast setup and like leading into a derby, especially early days for me when we had like Sean McManus and Matthew Carr and Josh Carr and those sort of guys with those sort of derbies coming through.
Yes.
We used to have, I know like Shawnee Mack has spoken before and Matthew Carr had spoken before. Like we get some of the older guys who had been around for a long time through the real dark period of Freo v West Coast about their experience. And so then they would sort of draw and go, like we had the facilities there, so we were all okay and we'd won a few by then. But back then they were going, we were the absolute, like it was a big brother versus a little brother and they used to like beat us up on the scoreboard, like we lose games all the time. And that's where we draw a lot of our like intensity for the game when you just started. But even now, like the passion I think for the players is still there, but the game has changed. So
What's it in the reverse for you guys?
Well, I think two things. Thank you for jumping in here, Frank. This is very good, Frank. You could just
Mangling
slot
for
in
your
very
job,
nicely.
mate. Maybe you can jump into my seat and I can jump into yours.
You're actually unemployed at the moment. Well, two things. I think it's heading that way for West Coast now. It's the West Coast season's completely cooked. They've just lost 4 of their 5 best players, basically. They'll continue to go down, and they're going to have to blood new players. So Freo will have this streak of, I think, probably 8, 9, 10, 11 derbies, and West Coast will become what Freo had to become, which was like the little brother that wanted to beat the big brother up. Like West Coast will become that after they'll get spanked for the next 2 or 3 years. And for me, there was like a little period where there was quite a bit of like personal angst between players. Like there was, we're hopefully having Crowls on the pod, and I've got to know Crowls post footy, like ripping bloke, become good mates with him. But as a player, he seemed almost nasty, and you like wanted to get him back. And so there was like a period there, like probably around that time where Ballas was playing and Garrick was playing, where it became a little bit personal. But I think there's so much separations between West Coast and Freo and our coaches, and especially John Worsfold. He was just so not nonchalant. That's the wrong word. It was just so. It was always 1 week at a time, and it was genuinely not a cliche. It was we have to just approach this game as another game. There's never an extra build up.
Yep.
But I think of mine that like a little bit different on the Freo side. I look at like there was games
Like you're treating it like a different game.
Well, I guess so. From what you're saying compared to, and like I'm from WA, so I've sort of
that's
seen
the
the
other
whole
thing.
thing growing up too.
Yes.
So my brother was a West Coast supporter, and like the people just around the place, like the whole thing for me, the derby's always been a big week. And yeah, like you say, we've sort of go through runs of, I think we won sort of 5 or 6 in a row, and then you guys won about 9, and then as the teams fluctuate with their own performances, you get a big run of. Just gets frustrating when you can't get it done for a long period of time, and then it turns and you have a good run. But
It's a big brother, little brother still there?
Well, I've been out for a while now, and
I think it'll be flipping. And Freo's giving me a
flag,
side.
maybe a flag, and then they're at even. I just feel like that little bit of
Frank's sitting there very quietly. You know who Frank goes for, Dan? Frank goes for the Crows.
It's fine this week.
Crom. You get up in a showdown.
It's fine this week.
Up and about.
Up and about.
Geez, they look good. That forward line is.
Are you happy with Adelaide?
Absolutely. When you see Rankin and Rochelle and
Were you in the pre-season feeling how you feel right now?
I think so. I think even at stages last year, like if you look at Adelaide's list as a whole, you see lots of good young kids, probably more so than what you see at some other clubs.
Rochelle and Rankin look really good through your guts, and Fogarty's a beast.
Yep.
Those thighs.
I think you actually get
big quaddies.
You're sort of starting to build a bit of a brand as well, which was probably lacking last year. But it's just young guys. But you can see the way you play now. Like, it's quite attacking. It's like exciting footy.
Yep.
Were you at a game on the weekend?
I was at a few games on the weekend. Yeah, I went to the Collingwood-Richmond game and the Bulldogs game as well.
You went to the F1, didn't you?
I did. Yep.
But the Bulldogs.
What didn't you do on the weekend?
Who are you? The Bulldogs game. The Bulldogs game that you were at.
Yes.
I had a message. So Matty Spanger is forward line coach down there, friend of the family here at BackChat.
Yep.
He actually texted me and said, "Mate, you wouldn't believe it. Frank Agostino's down in the rooms." Were you in the rooms?
Well, it actually was. Yeah. Just
How did that happen?
sitting one out, one back. Good mate of mine, Andrew McDougall.
Dude.
He got us in the rooms after the game through a Bulldogs connection.
Was it a good atmosphere down there? It's a big win.
It was a great atmosphere, and I'm going to go the spruik here. I was in the Richmond rooms the following night, and that was horrible.
How did you get in all these rooms?
networking.
Yeah,
Proper fangirling all weekend I was.
That's so good.
And how was the F1?
That was fantastic. And if you'd had said to me maybe pre-Drive to Survive, the doco, whether I could sit and watch, for 58 laps, cars go around in circles, I'd have laughed at you.
It's not that's not what you're there for though. Like we did F1 in Europe last year, and you're not there to watch the race.
The most boring part was probably watching the race.
Yeah, so
other stuff
this
is the
particular race, Dan, I think was just a fantastic race.
First time in history they've had 3 red flags.
Yeah, and that was, just drama.
So it was all happening. I didn't see it. It was all happening.
Sorry to give it away.
There was 2 laps to go, and it was was building up to be the most like it was basically a repeat of Max and Lewis with that safety car at the end.
No, Mikey, no.
And then within the first corner there was another crash, so another red flag. So did they
sprint lap it or not?
No, they just sort of called it at the end. So spoiler
anticlimax.
Anticlimax, but it was so much build up. It was awesome. There was a lot of hype.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good.
I think it's time to get into one of our favourite segments of the week.
Thanks to Tina.
You're simply the best.
Okay.
Boys, just in case you didn't hear that, that was Haymish, Dan, and I singing "You're Swimply the best." Not simply, Swimply. Swimply. If you've got a pool, you want a pool, this is Airbnb for pools, Dan.
That's right. So if you want a pool and you can't put one in your backyard, doesn't matter because you can go rent someone else's. That's the beauty of it.
If you boys haven't signed up, which I'm sure
That's
you
a
have, because
great,
you're both BackChat
great
fans.
business.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you've got a
That's
pool,
awesome.
like which I do at the moment, it's not mine, but it's my in-laws. You always just give me shit about having a pool, and so I feel like I have to defend myself that I have a pool in my backyard.
How long ago were you? This would have been back in 2007, was it?
Yeah,
he was at his
that's
peak
right.
there.
So, but I haven't swum in it in probably 2 months. But if somebody else wanted to and pay me money,
This is your current pool.
so good.
Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Your
it's
setup up
perfect
there is
setup.
amazing.
Very
like
good.
we're talking
That's
real
better.
suburbs
That's
hockey.
the nicer Will Schofield
Yeah,
now, isn't it?
No, it's
Supportive
good.
Will.
Yeah, it's legit backyard. So you can also offer things like your barbecue or towels, all the facilities.
Have either of you got pools?
Not at all.
I don't know.
No.
Have you
But
got-
sometimes you
have
just
you-
want to have a swim, and you're like, I don't want to go out to like Beatty Park where there's like 1,000 kids peeing in the pool.
Any of the Freo boys
yeah.
got pools? Who's got a big pool? Bellas? No.
Yeah, Bowers has had a few pools. Because he lives so far south, he's got these big properties, so he has an
Sandy?
enormous pool. Sandy did. Yeah.
Sandy's bath is basically a pool. I'm assuming.
That's very good.
Has to
Dan.
have a big one.
If you want to sign up, BackChat 23, and you can get $30 off your first use. So you boys might need that as well.
All right, so this is what we do. We do the 3 best moments of the round. We put it out on social media. The listeners get to vote on it. So we'll go through the 3 moments. So moment 1 was Flippin' Freddy, as it's been called. So Michael Fredericks, how many minutes left in the game? I don't know.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, kicked a goal. I wouldn't call it the sealer because they were well and truly
Dan's
home by
a big
then.
West Coast fan.
And then
Not happy. Not happy.
and Freddie pulls the back flip. It was an amazing bat flip. Good sportsmanship. Don't know. No, I'm joking. It was awesome. I was actually.
It's funny because I thought the same thing.
I was
'cause
waiting
initially
for it.
I was
What would
like,
Ross say to
I've
that?
never I was leading to it. So
Okay.
I was going to say, when I saw it, I was like, that's amazing. I've never seen that before. But then I was like, man, it's the end of the game. Like, you've lost 6 players to injury. Like, it's not the sealer like it was in the moment type thing. I was like, it's a bit much. But I've watched it back about 8 times. I was like, that's amazing.
Yes.
So I'm all for it. But
What
it's
would
because
Ross
I'm
say?
from the
what
school
would
of
Ross-
Ross Lyon.
Would have you got a clip for that?
He would have gone nuts.
Yeah, he probably would have. I think
Yeah.
so anyway. Yeah, I would say. He would have said none of that.
I like to get on Twitter and I just like tweet subtle things that will just piss off Freo fans. And I was so close to going like, high horsing it, like bit disrespectful to the game. And I knew people would have like bit at it. But
Why didn't you?
Because
He was too busy doing his other tweet, which was, why is everyone still booing Andrew Gadd?
honestly, it's been 5 years. People would drop it. You're still booing
Thug.
the guy. Thug. No, I get it. I just thought by now they would have stopped, but they're relentless. You boo
That was
whoever you want,
that
that's
was
fine.
amazing. I'm sorry, but that was amazing.
The flip?
Moment 1.
Oh,
Freddie.
it was awesome.
amazing. And I've got no problem with it.
Moment 2, the Saints winning on their anniversary, 150th year anniversary of the club.
Oh man, yeah, big.
Got
yeah,
the best thing I liked about it was the collars.
I would have said. I was about to
jerseys.
say. I would say the biggest moment was collars are back.
Yeah, they
like
look awesome.
very. Did you boys see the collars?
Didn't
I
see
saw
him.
it.
Didn't see
I mean, you've both got collars on right now. You know all
Yeah,
about them.
we
don't you?
do.
So,
All about the collars.
So look, I don't want to tell you how to vote.
Yeah,
Freddie's flip was better than that.
yeah,
Gotta be
okay,
honest.
sure. And then moment 3, Jamari Ugle-Hagan, ripper of a game, and this is off the back of the week that had just passed, where he was. It was 2 weeks previous to that. He was called it.
No, it was the week before.
week
So the week
before,
before, Nicky Wimar was back at the footy club, and it was close to the 30th anniversary to when he lifted his top
Yep.
up and pointed to the colour of his skin. And Jamar, first goal he kicks, does the same, kicks 5 goals. Interviewed post game on the field. So
Yep.
I've done some of those, and it's awkward at the best of times, but. The way he handled himself then, and then in the post-match presser, they put him up again with next to Luke Beveridge. Mate, how he spoke for a 20-year-old.
Yeah, he's a legend.
And he's going to be a fantastic footballer
He-
too.
oh,
Right?
yeah.
Like
And
he's
that's-
clean, very clean on
Mate,
the
that's
ground.
what it
and
should be about as well. It's such absolute disgraceful that
meatheads.
the middle one, Saints winning anniversary club. Yeah, you vote for that if you want, but seriously, it's between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Because Jamal Hagan played an amazing game, smoked like an absolute man, and was incredible.
Yep.
And Flippin' Freddie. So there you two are.
Very good. All right, that's good. We'll put it out on socials tomorrow. You vote on it, and then it gets announced the following day. AFL tipping. Now we've got a big one to talk about this week, and it's AFL tipping. But early when we were putting together this run sheet,
Do you boys do tipping at Fleet Network?
We do.
Yep.
like it just
any
company wide.
Adam tip.
Yeah, well, Adam Pickering won this week, but his son Mike does his tipping. He's
right, there
6,
you go.
so he beat
So
everyone at Fleet Network.
family-related tipping.
Okay,
That's interesting.
very good connection there. So.
It's a nice little segue, Garrick.
When we're putting together this run sheet, we were like, okay, let's see who won the tipping this week. And then I'm reading it through, and it is
And what do they win? They win a $250
win a
voucher to
$250 Campfield. It's
Sorry.
amazing.
It's a pretty bloody good price.
Yeah,
They give
great.
them White Fleet?
Yeah.
Nah.
Weekly winners there?
No.
What
Similar.
Garrick runs Fleet Network, not me. Ask him.
is it? $20 membership.
Frodo
come
Frog.
come down the gym at 5 a.m.
It's the opposite. I think it's actually like a bagel and coffee from the van around the corner.
Oh, is it really?
Like every
Right.
week, yeah.
Some
Homely.
carbs.
Support the local.
Fat chat.
Support the local bagel man.
The person that won this week got 7 tips right, and there was 3 people
Wow.
that got 7 tips. So
I got
obviously
4. What'd you get?
I got 6.
I got 4.
6.
Yep.
3 for me.
3.
And the Crows weren't one of them.
Wow.
There you go. So
7 for this.
the only difference between the 3 people that got the 7, one person guessed the margin right of the first game, which is how we always do it. So have a look. Margin 0. Patrick J. Lee got it, which is a very good effort to
J. Lee.
Patrick J. Lee.
That sounds surprisingly similar to my father-in-law.
Oh.
Patrick J. Lay.
Oh, Leahy.
Wow.
father-in-law?
That is Alex's dad. My dad's wife has. Now this sounds, it's a little bit doctored. I saw
Like, can we drop the ruse?
okay, can we drop the ruse? So we did this before,
Yeah.
and Dan's going Patrick J. Lee, and I'm like, that sounds like Alex's dad's name. And I looked at it; it's genuinely my wife's dad's name. Now, we need to actually speak about this. Given there's $250 getting given away each week,
There's no we can screenshot it.
mate, go on, check on the league. Go and check Patrick J. Lays. He's picked 14 points the margin to the Western Bulldogs. He was one of the only people in the top 20 that picked the Western Bulldogs. Little story. Patrick was going to sign up, and his family. And I don't know if you guys do this with Fleet Network or anything, and do a little bit of family discount. But I told everyone, and this is going to sound bad. Our patrons aren't going to like me for this, but I am an honest man. I said to Patrick, mate, just join. I'll sort the Patreon element out for you. If you win a week, then we'll just get you to sign up. But you're not going to win, mate. Like, you've got no idea about football, so don't worry. Just have fun with the tipping competition.
Yeah.
Anyway, he refused because he's a man of his word. He's an honourable man. He said, I'm not joining. I need to pay. He paid the top tier VIP.
Well done.
And 3 weeks in, he's won the weekly tips. And he wins $250
So
at
well done,
Anfield,
well done.
which he's going to spend on food because he doesn't drink.
That's great. Well, maybe we should go with him.
Correct. I think it could be a good idea. So well done to Patrick. I don't think he knows yet, so he's going to listen to this.
So
He's gonna
good.
find
Well
out
done,
on the
Patrick.
following night.
Will, you're currently ranked 139 out of about 300.
Wow.
Out of about 140. I'm going horribly. I think
yeah.
if you're going well in footy tips this year, you've got no idea about footy. None.
I'm ranked 42. So no, it's not great. Good, not great.
The boys are laughing because you're going well, and I just said you've got
I'm
no
not
idea
going
about
well.
footy.
I'm 42nd.
42nd out of 350 people in the league. It's good.
All right, I'll take that.
Congratulations.
All right, I know we've been talking about a little bit of Fleet Network, but we're going to have a little break, and we're going to hear some more about Fleet Network. Thanks, Damo.
Question for you, boys. Looking to save thousands on your next car and bundle your running costs? Look no further than Fleet Network, if that's the case.
Yeah, definitely.
Where was the question?
Okay, great. Fleet Network are Australia's novated leasing specialists, helping thousands of individuals and businesses secure great deals on their vehicles each year. I reckon both of you tick both of those boxes.
I sure do. Yep,
Individuals, businesses, well, at least you know what it is. Through a Fleet Network novated lease, Australians can use their pre-tax dollars to pay for a new or used car and all its associated running costs.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Do you know what running costs are, Dan? I'm going to give them to you, right? That means you pay no GST on essentials such as fuel included, insurance included, registration included, servicing included, even new tyres.
I hate paying for all of those things.
You know what? I know you hate those things. Do you know what you like? More money in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
That's what Fleet Network does for you. What's more, they'll source your choice of car from their nationwide supply network and negotiate exclusive discounts. Have an old car you want to trade in? I know you do, Hammer. I saw what
I've
you're
got an old car, but I don't want to trade it in. But continue. Let me see what they're offering.
Okay. Fleet Network can handle that too. Simply drive your old vehicle in, drive away with a dream car. They'll sell your old car for you and maximise the trade value. You can't tell me you don't want that.
Yeah, well, the Beats is priceless.
Okay, thank you very much. As novated leasing and salary packaging experts for more than 25 years, Fleet Network will make your move to novated leasing simple and stress-free. Getting started's easy, Hammer. Don't worry about it. Contact Fleet Network today or visit their website, www.fleetnetwork.com.au, and feel the freedom of novated leasing.
Very good. Bit of a nod there to Fleet Network. Thanks for powering our podcast. All right.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah, you're right here. Well, thank you in person.
Good. Thank you.
All right, BlueBet. We can talk about this because Hammer's not here.
Usually we ask Hammer to leave. 'cause
Yeah, that's right.
Employed by one of the teams of the AFL. You aren't, are you, Garrick? You aren't hosting, function rooms on the weekends or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Mate.
Okay,
No.
so we did something new with BlueBet this week. We did the BackChat coin flip, which we've coined. Very good.
Well done.
So basically, we had 4 legs that we were flipping a coin with and then selecting that for our multi.
I'm going to be honest. The concept is good. I don't think we've executed it as well as I think we need to work
it's
on it a
work
little
in
bit.
progress.
I think the concept's good.
Yeah, brilliant concept.
So basically, we've tried to build a multi with options that are a flip of the coin. Could go each way. Not really going to be able to split it. Form won't give you much idea. It's a bit pot luck. So we did first goal into first behind, into last goal, into last behind,
You just pick the teams.
into odd or even total score.
Sounds likely.
Yeah.
So
You get close?
you've basically we genuinely got close.
Missed by a leg, the hard luck story. Here it comes.
We put a $5 maximum bet on it. So we don't want people to go and put $100 on this because this is a muck around bet.
Yeah.
So we put $1 on each because we'd used $1 coin to flip around. We went West Coast, Freo. We went Freo, West Coast, odd.
That's right. So we tipped that
Freo
Freo would
first
get
goal.
the first goal. Freo would get the
first
first
goal.
point.
Right.
West Coast behind, West Coast goal, odd. We literally nailed it. No, we didn't literally nail it.
didn't.
It went, if you can remember, West Coast goal in the first 5 seconds of the game, West Coast behind, finished with Fremantle point, Fremantle goal, and it was odd. We just got them around the wrong way.
So we're close but far. You think it's
What
closer than I think?
I would like in the future, and it's going to be up to BlueBet if we can do this. What I would like is to build your own. Like you should be able to build your own, not just listen to us like a couple of nuffies. Like if you could go 50-50, do you boys punt?
Not really. No, not a heap.
Great. What's it?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Like just a little bit of a multi every now and then.
Yeah, here and there.
Would you do that? Would you do a 50-50 chance times 5? It's effectively 50-50 times 5.
That sounds bloody difficult.
Yeah, I
but,
know. That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's too hard.
But it sounds like you got close, Will, so don't give up.
Yeah, correct.
The thing is, that the harder it is when it eventually happens, it will be glorious. So
Exactly.
maybe
Yeah.
that's...
Imagine the celebration.
Yeah,
Was-
the carry on.
Was punting big when you're playing at the same time as me? Like I always hear players talking about the social media and the punting aspect, and I never personally received that. It was probably because no one was betting on me to do anything. Did you ever cop much social abuse or punting? Hey, you fucked my multi, that sort of stuff. Did you cop any of that?
No. The only thing I ever used to get is people saying, "Oh, you fucked my fantasy side. Any chance you got a kick in the last fucking quarter or something like that?" You know, I used to get every
Dream
now and again,
team
but
stuff.
that's about
You
it.
would have been a lot of fantasy teams there.
I reckon I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
I reckon
yeah.
I had you on my team. Maybe that's why I didn't like you.
cheap.
Yeah.
It would have been
Nah,
cheap.
you were expensive, I reckon.
It would have
Garrick.
been no, it wasn't. Was it? But not actual punting stuff. No, hardly ever. Never had anyone say.
I was going to say.
That's all right.
So that's BlueBet.
That's BlueBet. We'll put out on later
We'll
in
do
the
better
week.
next week.
Yeah, we'll do better. That's right. All right. The BackChat Backman Award. Now, this is something it's been building every week. For the last 2 weeks, we've given out an award. Well, 3 votes, 2 votes, and 1 vote to the best backman in the competition.
You boys know about this, right? The Brownlow medal goes to midfielder.
Yes.
We got the Coleman. Congratulations. You kicked the most goals. Whoop-de-doo. There's nothing for the backs.
Golden fist.
It's stitched up, don't they?
Not anymore.
No, RIP Danny.
Yeah.
It's not around anymore.
This is a really touchy subject over here.
The golden fist or Backman not getting looked after?
Backman not getting looked after.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard dive.
If a forward misses a set shot, if Garrick's in the vicinity, they cop a spray because if that happens back 50, then that turns into a goal. And
Tell us more about it.
Well, you
I
would
couldn't agree more.
sympathise. Well, you would. So we have a bit of football, obviously background at Footy Network, but quite often if we're watching the footy and someone misses a goal that's an easy one, I'll text them and say, well, if you're a backman and you kick that across the goals and you shank it and someone kicks a goal, crucified.
Yeah.
But it's the same for a forward. So like if you have
why don't those backs just play forward so they don't have to deal with that?
They probably could.
They couldn't.
It's not as easy as everyone thinks. Trying to be a backman, trying to get to play forward will be a dream, but you don't get the chance all the time. But that's what I think. I think, well, it's a set shot. You've got plenty of time to think about it. And especially if they're going to kick around the corner and miss it. You're like, well, we're under pressure. The moment we sit down and chat with Fleet Network, I'm like, geez, what is it about these guys I really like? They're fucking backmen.
I'm a backman, definitely a backman.
Pseudo, or you're actually a backman? I mean, you're talking about getting cheap kicks down, kicking out.
Yeah, I think I might be more a pseudo. You got me. Jesus, taken this long to be figured out.
Yeah, mate, I could not agree more. I mean, some of the bullshit we have to put up with as backmen, saying the midfielders running around, giving votes on the weekend for the Ross Glendenning medal. Glendenning Allen. You should have seen his eyes when I just left out the free.
I didn't even quick.
Yeah, you would have though.
Glendenning Allen medal. It was paining me. Sarong was best on ground, but was he? Do you know what I mean? Was he? If you had a backman run around the midfield, I'm sure he would have got lots of touches as well.
Yeah.
It's just how it happens that he's playing in the mid. That's why they get the touches, right?
I think so.
If the ball was balled up down the back line each week, then you probably get a fair few touches down the back line.
Of course they do.
So I really was looking for good backmen. Freo's back line didn't play very well.
No, they didn't.
I would have, just to let the secrets out of the bag here, I would have given it to, if I was a 50-50, I was going to give it to a backman. But there was no good backs, unfortunately, for Freo. But I gave it to what I thought was a role player, someone who's sort of out of the bag, Switkowski.
Yes.
And I was vindicated. He got 7 votes in the coaches
votes, yeah.
Yep.
And no one else gave him votes.
You see the game.
It's the same scenario when a midfielder ends up on a halfback flank in an All-Australian team. He tees off with that as well.
you get a bit,
I don't tee off now.
You get a bit tied up with these sorts of things.
He does.
Because
Bitter.
these blokes
Very
spend
bitter.
all day hanging shit on me about being under 6 foot, which I'm not. But then about being a backman.
Is Fair Workplace still listening or not?
Have to get my own
What was the conversation we spoke about? What was the one we had? So Sam Mitchell was named on a back flank, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. So genuine midfielder, All-Australian team comes and he ends up on a halfback flank. Garrick doesn't like that.
He's a midfielder. A great midfielder.
He is a midfielder.
Great midfielder.
The NBA is just moving to in their new CBA to make it positionless for their all NBA team, which would mean this is going to be probably 5 guards.
Really? I don't like that at all.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset.
Would you
about
like to watch it though? As a spectator, would you like to watch 5 of the best players rather than 5 positional players?
They already do it, and it's woeful.
Absolutely
the All-Star
god-awful.
game. Yeah, it is pretty awful.
Why do I think, again, you keep saying it's fair work listening, or not fair work, because that's when you dismiss people, but whatever it is, workplace agreements, I feel like you just wind him up.
It's easy though.
Yeah.
Very easy.
All right, let's talk about this Backman Award.
Okay.
We've got the 3 votes winner and the 2 votes winner, but you guys are going to select the 1 voter for this week.
So there is a way we award these votes. We haven't revealed it on the podcast yet. And if anyone does figure out how we're doing it, go for your life, let us know. But we have awarded Brennan Cox the 3 votes this week. He was solid in the Derby. I didn't give him votes, but he was very good. We've given him 3 votes.
Okay, and this
Garrick,
is
you happy
for
with that?
the entire
He didn't start
league,
well.
not just WA as well.
No, he didn't start well at all.
Didn't he have the first 2 goals kicked on him?
No, he
The
was
first-
poor.
Could have been the first
But
3.
like any good backman, sometimes you get goals kicked on you.
He was up against it.
What's the most
First-
goals you
yeah,
ever
first-
had on you?
Well, as a backman, you know it's team defence.
Yeah,
so
correct.
when you get any more than 1 or 2, it's a team effort.
So
right.
Brennan gets our 3 votes this week.
Okay, 2 votes.
Billy Frampton.
Yeah, Billy Frampton.
Billy Frampton was outstanding in his game, kept his opposition to absolutely no goals, was just strong. I mean, you've lost him from Adelaide, haven't you, Billy Frampton?
Yeah, we have. We gave him away, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
All right, so we're going to give you 3 names and you guys can select.
he played on Tom Lynch, Billy
There
Frampton.
you go.
And he kept him absolutely nowhere.
Okay, cool.
So Billy Frampton gets our 2 votes.
Okay.
The 1 vote out of these 3 blokes.
Okay, so you got Jack Buckley,
Yep.
Lewis Young, Tom McCartan. So it's up to you. It's up to
So
you
did Jack
guys.
Buckley play on Kerno or?
He played a bit of both.
Yeah.
He played a bit
and
of
they
both.
only kicked 2.
Kerno kicked 2 goals, 3, and Mackay kicked 0 goals.
That's good effort for me.
It is. Okay.
Who'd you choose?
Jack Buckley for me.
And Tommy McCartan playing for Sydney. They played against Melbourne and they got absolutely bathed. Chandler kicked 3, Fritsch kicked 3, Van Rooyen on debut.
That was the
3.
midfield. Oh, that's on the midfield there.
And then Lewis Young. I'm not sure how Lewis played, to be honest, but I have a great deal of respect for him because he's a backman.
All right, so 1 vote feels like it's going to be.
How'd Sicily go on the weekend? Any good?
Sicily.
T-Way Back?
Sicily played back,
He's one of those
but you don't
He's one of those pseudo backmans that Scully doesn't like.
Correct. So you don't get
Gets too much of the footy. Anything north of 15 touches, Scully's not into.
If you kick a goal in the game, you automatically disqualify.
So Carlton beat GWS. That's who. So
Andy?
who?
Sicily?
No, he's not up there. Unfortunately,
18 marks?
No, unfortunately, Sicily.
Garrick, this is our backman.
See,
award.
18 marks. See, Garrick, it's not about
No.
taking marks down the back line, chipping around down there, mate, okay? It's about doing what backs do.
All right, so Jack Buckley,
Lewis Young,
Tom McCartan.
give 1 vote to one of those players, please.
Buckley?
I reckon Buckley, given the fact that he's played on those 2 big guys.
Well, I'll tell you
Puts
what,
him in the
boys, I'm
lead.
here to tell you that Jack Buckley's leading the
leading.
backman.
Leading.
He got
Yeah.
3 votes round 1.
He's had a fantastic year.
3 votes, so he's now sitting on 4.
Did he
I
lead
can't
in the
remember
Brownlow?
others.
Yeah, I
this time?
think so.
Ahead of Dacos?
So this is outrageous. This seems he's Haymish Brayshaw's best mate, and I promise we're not rigging it.
No,
he's
we
just
don't.
playing
Oh,
really
really?
well. Yeah,
he's
correct.
too, yes.
Speaking of backman, tomorrow's guest on the BackChat show is Alex Witherden. Now, we recorded this last week, obviously to a pretty big hit in the Derby just gone. I will say this about Witho. He does, at some point, just at about 45 minutes in, realise he can't speak for longer than about 20 seconds without completely like coughing up his lungs. He had a bit, something going on.
We got halfway through.
Yep.
First half was great.
Brilliant, yeah.
Just like this podcast.
Yeah.
Great, flawless. Couldn't fault it. And something crawled inside his throat and died at that point. And he couldn't clear it. And we stopped the podcast.
Yeah, we
We'd never had it
stopped.
happen before, and it's sort of hard to reschedule it. It'd be like getting to now and then one of you boys can't speak, and it's like, well, do we get you back and
What
finish the pod? Or so we stopped. We got him drink. We gave him like a litre of water. We had him out the front coughing his lungs out and spitting He wasn't sick. He just something happened to his
Something
throat. So
when you-
listen to it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but just know what's going on in the back half.
That's right, and I will say, so if people listening go, "Oh, it must have been from the concussion," like it wasn't. There's no correlation to that. We didn't.
That was before.
We didn't. Yeah, we interviewed him before. So
correct.
there you go. All right, let's do some emails.
You send it, we read it.
Thanks to Leadville Cameras. You send an email, we might read it if it's good and chat about it here on the show. Leadville Cameras supply, you guys would see all the gear. I'm not sure what you guys thought it was going to look like when you first came
Great
in,
gear.
but we got all the cameras, mics, lights, everything that you need to make a podcast, Leadville Cameras do.
Did you
there.
expect this would be like this?
Oh, exactly how I thought it'd be.
Really?
Yep.
You like it?
Rugged defender.
Do you like it in here?
No
Love
fuss.
We might be upgrading at some point
Yeah.
in time, but we're
No,
in
don't
the,
do it to yourself. This is good.
Okay.
This is you. This is you, mate.
Yeah, it actually is.
Okay.
Very good point.
There is a lot of chatter about me fighting the owner of Leadville Cameras, Lidio. He's a black belt. It would be one of those YouTube people fights, like
Animation.
Yeah.
No, I mean because
like KSI fights.
famous
against
YouTubers
Mike
are now just
Tyson.
like boxing each other for some reason, and it sells out. I imagine it's probably something similar to that. Me and Lidio going at it, but he's a black belt. Anyways, let's read this first email. It's from Brendan Matthews. It says, "Hey fellas, great show. I listened to an episode on a flight months ago, and you were telling a story about one of the players taking maybe endone by accident before a training session. It was hilarious, but can't remember what episode it was. Can you jog my memory?" Scully, can you?
Do we have an answer for that? Is this in here for any reason?
No,
I do remember it. So it was before
I don't know
a 2K
if you named
time trial.
names, but you.
No. We spoke. I think it was Jeremy McGovern. It was before a 2K time trial. No, it wasn't Jeremy McGovern. It was a West Coast 2K time trial. Tom Cole.
Yes.
Tom Cole thought he was taking painkillers before the 2K. So you ever have that? Is it Panadol and you have an anti-inflammatory Panadol and it kind of gets you feeling up and about? Instead of the Panadol, he thought it was an anti-inflammatory, it was an endone, which
Oh, no.
so halfway to the club, he starts like falling asleep while he's driving and had to run a 2K time trial.
Oh, you still did it?
Oh yeah, he did it.
Good.
Yeah, he didn't tell anyone.
Ran it well?
Yeah, I think he got through okay. So it was Tom Cole there, Brendan.
There you go.
Go for your life.
All right, this one's from Stan Doverman, which, I don't know if that's a real name, but whatever.
No, stand over, man. Come on.
Yeah, but
That's
I don't
not-
know. In case there is a Stan Doverman, I don't want to like disrespect his name if that's legit. I'm being cautious. Okay, getting in contact with the lads and Dan. Nobody knows the criteria of back person of the year. All I know is one of the leading candidates bought and had beers with the ground staff at their end of year function last year. And in my eyes, that's a true champion, as without high-quality turf preparation, there would potentially be more injuries, and a Gold Coast Suns player to do that is amazing. Champion.
Does that mean Sam Collins, Gold Coast Suns? He got 2 votes last week.
Wouldn't put it past Sam
Well, it
Collins
has to be. I don't think
do
any
something
other
like
Gold
that.
Coast.
Yeah, that's true.
So Sammy Collins has bought the...
the ground staff at the end of the year function bought the beers for it and had
good operating.
beers with the ground staff.
You'd rate that.
It's good operating.
You'd rate that.
Businessman.
I love Sam
Have you ever
Collins.
done that?
No.
Frank, you?
Nah, not at all.
We usually have fines here, but
We
they
usually have
are,
fines
they
here,
are
but-
targeted specifically at Dan and Haymish.
Yeah, so we'll save them up for next week. We'll have a big fine sesh, maybe 20 of
Keep
them.
sending them in backchatpodcast.com.au/fines. You can click on the link. You can put your voices in there. So people send in fines, boys, and they go at us hard. So feel free to send them in to Garrick and Frank if you've heard anything today on the podcast you want to pull them up on. Did either of you run fines at the club?
At the
Fines,
club.
fines
You mean
Marcy?
at Fleet Network?
Yeah.
Is it not a club?
Do you have fines at Fleet Network?
No, we
No,
don't.
we don't.
That would be Fair Workplace.
I just
reckon,
thought
reckon.
maybe but East Perth or maybe at East Frere or...
Yeah, the club I was involved with last year, we ran a fine session. Good fun.
Yes.
Always good fun.
Well, our audience takes it to new levels. It's
Yeah,
very good.
that's
And
good.
we're raising money for charities
yeah.
involved with this.
Fantastic.
So Men's Talk, Soccer to Sarcoma and Sabre, so a dog refuge home, Soccer to Sarcoma raising funds for a pretty rare cancer in sarcoma, and Men's Talk is a men's mental health charity. So we pay people fine. We have to match the fine and we
Donate it.
to the charities.
That's right.
It's good.
So-
Beautiful.
Yeah. So one last thing we have to do before we chat Patreon, and a couple of things to wrap up with the boys.
Exciting things, actually. What's the last
Merch.
thing? Oh, I forgot all about this.
Yeah, I just saw it. We haven't spoken about this, so this is going to be slightly rogue because we haven't really decided what we're doing.
We haven't.
I'm going
but
to
you
leave
know
it up to
what?
you.
I'm going to be just really blatantly
Go.
honest. So merch, boys, we released Kings of the Big Game merch. May or may not have anything to do with the club that plays in the AFL. I don't know. I guess you...
Yeah, games are a thing, kings are a thing. It's
Yeah,
not
correct.
owned by anyone.
You know, like there's animals that are specific mascots, but it might actually match up with that. We had some conversations during the week, and look, it's resulted in the online store being locked. So there is a passcode on the website.
Yes.
If you went on to backchatpodcast.com.au/merch and you wanted to look at what was in that store, it's locked. And if you wanted the password, I guess all you'd have to do is think about what this podcast's name is. And then you just have to put what you think the name is into the password area. And then
Right.
I suppose if you wanted to, you could probably buy the merch.
Is that on backchatpodcast.com.au?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
/merch.
Merch, okay.
Like, I'm not telling you that's what you should do,
No.
but also...
Please do not hack the shop and buy stuff from it. Please. We've
don't
locked it
put
for
the
a reason.
password in. This podcast name is BackChat. That's the
Powered
password.
by Fleet Network.
Powered by Fleet Network. BackChat's the password. Go and buy some shit. Look, we're not allowed to sell it. If you want to buy it, it's behind there, and that's how you can get it. So
Yeah, for a very, very limited time. And it's not like a
correct.
Osborne Park Rugs company that's been shutting down for 40 years. Legitimately, everything must go, bras, all of that. Please go have a look at that.
Very good.
Now,
Or
we're gonna-
don't.
Yeah, or don't.
No, we're not telling
we
you.
can't tell you to do
Yeah,
anything.
don't do that.
Free country, do whatever you want. We're going to have a bit more of a chat with the Fleet Network boys for our Patreon only. And we got a very special thing. We're going to we got a very special offer for those people first.
Yeah. Are we going to tell everyone about it, or are we just going to wait and tell the patrons about it?
We're going to just tell patrons about it for now, right?
Okay.
Maybe we'll release it to the public, but there's a very good deal alongside Fleet Network.
So if you want to sign up,
Yeah.
and what do they have to do to get what this special deal is, boys? Don't give it away. But it's sign up with Fleet Network, right?
Yeah, so it's sign and then settle. So obviously if you sort of order a car now and it's 8 months away, it's probably not going to work. But if you sign and settle the car, so by the time you sign your application form and get into your car, you're eligible.
We've got a very special deal.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what it is, you've got to sign up as a Patreon, be a VIP. That's on our website, backchatpodcast.com.
Yeah, if you want to be one of the people to get that before it gets snapped up.
Great.
Yeah.
Boys, anything to finish us off with? Have you had fun?
Loved it.
Had a great time. Thanks, Will.
Thanks,
Dan.
boys.
Anytime.
We've had a bit of a laugh, a bit of a piss tape, but some serious stuff in there in the middle. We do appreciate your support. We're pumped to have you on board for this year, 2023. BackChat powered by Fleet Network, boys. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks very much.